are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. Lily white, lily white, lily white and navy blue. Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, heart, heart and soul. Lily white, lily white and navy blue. Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, heart, heart and soul. Lily white, lily white and navy blue. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, heart, heart and soul. Lily white, and navy blue. And navy blue. Navy blue.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday edition of Spurs Diehards TTID Tottenham Till I Die. They say never ever change a winning team, but by God, I tried. I tried. I made offers here. I checked on the availability of other people. We made inquiries. We put in offers that were turned down. But I'm left with the same people I had last week. So Tom will be joining us soon. But welcome back to the stage, to the madhouse, Callum Stubbs. Good evening, Callum.
Evening, mate. Evening, mate. Yeah, good to be back. I know you had plenty of other offers, but somehow I was still only availability on the free list for this week. So I thought I'd jump on for the Sunday edition, mate.
Absolutely. It's the agents, Callum, I'm blaming. It's the agents. And another one of our regulars, evening, Jose from El Tel Cockerel. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Nice to be back
exactly,
again.
Mate, exactly.
I'm here for the music. I'm here for the disco.
Well, all I've got to say about those two reprobates below me is like they were both 12th choice, which is like our choices in the transfer market, right? So I'm feeling great. We got a fantastic win to talk about. Get in there, Spurs. And back to you, Ian.
And back to me. Well, what a nice time to come back to me, because after the debacles of Sunday nights last year, where we were talking about defeat after effing defeat, once again, we go to the Etihad and win comfortably again. Callum, how do you feel about that, my friend? Callum's having trouble hearing, isn't he? Callum, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate. I can hear you.
Okay. Did you hear the question?
No, I'm afraid not.
It was really just saying we went to the Etihad and won again. How do you feel about that? Nice gentle underarm bowl for the first one.
Mate, that was cracking, weren't it? I'm not going to lie. That's like we've won so many times there now. It's like we might as well just move in there, to be honest, because we can't win at home at Spurs, but we could definitely win there every season. Let's put it that way.
Indeed. Is it time to rename the Etihad 3 Point Lane, Jose?
Well, do you know what? It's kind of weird, lads, because obviously you know that I do the predictions league, but it's kind of weird because I don't know whether it's people just, going mad, but we only played Burnley last week and beat them. And the optimism was sky high going into the Manchester City game from the fan base. The majority of the fan base actually believed it wasn't just, yeah, it's my team, so I'm going to back them. There was a belief that we could go to Manchester and win. There was a good, solid belief within the fan base. And we were served up a really, really mature performance by our team up there. Some people would have been a bit jittery when we, at half time, saying, well, we know we've been here before against PSG. And people must have thought to themselves, oops, something might end up happening, you know. But yeah, it was a mature performance. At the end of the day, whatever it is, and I said this on Friday, and I said this on my show earlier on today, it doesn't matter what manager is managing a Tottenham side. The amount of Tottenham sides that have gone and won at the Etihad now with different managers, we have like the Indian signing. And to be honest, long may it continue. I've said to people, it doesn't matter what team Man City put out and what season it was that we played them in. Man City are always going to stick out a world-class 11 against you. It doesn't matter what season you look at. They've got quality in abundance. And to go there and do a number on them, absolutely brilliant.
Adrian, I'll bring you in on this. I mean, I looked at their bench before the match started and thought, do you know what? That bench could all get into our side. All of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's surprising to carry on with what Jose said, but it's strange when statistics come up. I mean, the three teams that we have the most success against the Premier League, I think number 1 is Everton, number 2 is Man City, number 3 is West Ham. And now it's good because it now means that the psychology's there. Every time, I mean, our fans can be negative going into some games, but their fans must think, oh no, not Tottenham again, which is what you want. It's what you want, isn't it? I mean, like a bit of a psychological advantage before you even go there. And you'll get into it. Another thing is, Brian, with Frank, is, you know, he had PSG, we played 5 at the back, and all the podcasts before the game, we didn't know who was going to go. Do you think he's going to go 4 at the back or 5 at the back? And the majority I see thought we were going to go 5 at the back. But before we get into that, Ian, back to you.
Well, no, that's good. Thanks for that. But let's start with the team and let me carry on with you then, because I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't do Friday's show, and I don't know what you discussed, but it struck me that he might go with Danso, but then he would have lost some of his width in terms of Johnson and Kudos, but he decided to go with the 4-3-3 again, leaving out the inexperienced or less experienced Gray and Bergvall, and bringing in the highly experienced and capable Polina and Bentancur. And we'll be talking more about them as well.
I don't think we're any different to any other podcast out there, because Friday's show, everyone picked this team in the back 4 because we're still concerned about Solanke's fitness level. And then we juggled with the fact that, and I said to him, well, what if we do a PSG and play a back 5? And then we throw Dancing in and went with a front 2. But yeah, I mean, but the beauty of it is when we go and play teams now, other teams might do their research on us, and they won't know whether we're going to play a back 5 or back 4. But I still think that Ange will go maybe with a back 4. If you do it away to City, one of the best teams in Europe, then you're going to do it in most of your games. You just are, right? So I mean.
We notice Adrian's Freudian slip there.
Yeah, he said Ange. Yeah, I noticed that as well. I said, bring back Ange.
Frank, sorry. I've still got that warm glow for this, Europa League win. I'm going to carry it all through this season. And then the one person who said we're going to have success this season, and by success I mean top 5 in a domestic trophy. So,
come back to that. Cal,
click that.
What were your thoughts on the starting team?
It was probably the best we could put out there, to be honest. I mean, it's like the guys have already alluded to. Solanke's still not up to speed. Udogie only started training Friday properly. We've still got no recognised 10 in the squad, only people who could cover there as well. And the 3 starters who are there are probably more advanced than, say, Odebear and Tell coming in. And to be honest, I don't think it would be fair on Gray, Bergvall, people like that to be thrown straight up against midfield sort of setup that City could deploy, because we know, we were saying yesterday, even their bench could probably get into half of our starting 11 as well. So yeah, it's an interesting one, but I did think potentially a back five or a 3-4-2-1, some sort of formation like that could be deployed. But obviously I know we'll cover the game, but I was thoroughly happy, to be honest, because a lot of these players are in form. They have had a good pre-season, so I think they needed that out there, and all the more for it, as we know, for the result now.
Yeah, in fact, that's a fair comment, isn't it? Tom's managed to get here as well. Good evening, Thomas. Better to be Tom Clark late than the late Tom Clark. Always remember that.
Hello.
Jose, I'll bring Tom in after, but Callum makes a really important point. These players, all of them, are in exceptionally good form. All of them.
Yeah, yesterday I was on We Are Tottenham TV. I did the pump up show, and the one thing I said there is that last season, everybody, including everyone on the panel now, right, even if you're not close to the club or anything, every game that we played, you'd probably select 9-10 players out the starting 11. It was maybe one change would happen out of a lineup you think of, and you'd know what formation we were going to play. You knew how we were going to play. With Thomas Frank, you're going to get difference. You're going to get different formations, different setups, because he plays against the opponents, because they study all the opponents we play against. I felt that yesterday, before the match started, I said on the stream that we matched up with Man City. We played a 4-2-3-1. On paper, it looked like a 4-2-3-1, and it looked like on paper that's what Man City were going to play. But I equally said that 4-2-3-1, the players that he selected on paper, when you're just looking on paper, that can easily go from a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-3-3 to a 3-4-3 to a 3-5-2. In game, you can switch them 11 players. Sorry, apart from the keeper, the other 10 players can be switched around.
You could always play him as a sweeper, couldn't you? He could play on his halfway line. Our Trafford fucking wanted to yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, the team that was selected yesterday, the 10 outfield players, you could have jigged them and moved them around, to do. I felt that it was important, or Ash Mag and myself felt that it was important to win the battle in the midfield, and it was important that Paulinho, Sarr, and Bentancur talked to each other and communicated, because Man City would come at you and their midfield will swap around. They don't have the same player. Although Nico was probably the deepest midfielder they had, their players switch around the pitch, and it was important to communicate. So you pass players off to each other, and our midfield yesterday were absolutely brilliant. As a three, absolutely brilliant. Talk to each other, communicate, pass players off to each other. At the end of the day, the only thing, if you're going to be greedy, you probably wanted more goals. But it was a superb game. It was a great team effort.
Go through those formations. Anyone in the chat that ever needs a bingo caller, Jose is your man. Absolutely your man. Tom, talking about formations, what has intrigued me with majority of the games we played, other than, I'm trying to think which game we played. Dan went 5 at the back. I'm trying to remember, was that Arsenal or in the
PSG
game?
Did he play against PSG as well? Is that the setup with this is remarkably similar to Andrew's setup in a sort of 4-3-3, with sort of 2 holding back, 1 going forward, 2 wide men and a central attacker. Just it's far more effective under Thomas Frank.
There's only a limited amount of formations you can play, right? So, every manager is going to overlap and intertwine in between either playing 4 at the back or a 3 or a 5 at the back, and then you just limit. So, there is similarities, of course, because the personnel are basically the same. The difference is that it's so much more tactically organised than before. It was a bit under Ange. It was very gun ho. Like it was, all go and try and score. All try and go and score. That was basically it. And then we'll think about defending later. Whereas this is very much, yes, we want to go and score goals, but we need to make sure we don't concede any. Because if we don't concede any, then scoring one is enough. But at the same time, we're still looking to dominate the ball. We're still looking to be attacking and be a presence. It's not like we're just parking the bus and relying on counter attacks. Against City, that was I very much thought against City that we was going to go how we went against PSG, and I think that's how everyone probably thought we were going to go with the 5 at the back. So to see that we then went with 4, that was a little bit alarming at first. But then obviously, to a man, we absolutely outplayed them. And not only in terms of our holding on to the ball and what we created, but just the pressing as well. And although I look, for me, Pat Matasar is not a number 10. However, in a game like that, where you want him higher up the pitch to be able to press their defenders, he can run for days. Like he is just got such an engine on him that he can just press and press and press and press and press. So actually, in that sense, it works really well playing him as that more advanced midfielder. But obviously, against lesser teams where they're not going to have the ball so much, then that's not going to necessarily work. But like I said last week, and to be honest with you, I said it when Andrew was looking like on the ropes in February, March time. I always said Thomas Frank is the manager I wanted us to get, and this is why, because he proved at Brentford that he was so tactically fluid, and that if he was playing 5 at the back or if he was playing 4 at the back, the style of play would stay the same. Like the principles are the same. We might just have slightly different personnel starting in a slightly different position, but it's really great. And the thing for me that's enjoyable is that the players all look united, and I think Ange has to take credit for that. Like we have to, Ange definitely made them a united front. He definitely made them all want to work for each other, and then credit to Thomas Frank that he's come in and not done what a lot of managers want to do when they come in, and that's stamp their own authority over everything and make everything themselves. He's gone, no, this is good. This is working. You're all together. Let's improve it from here with a bit of like tactical nous. So yeah, really, really good performance. And whatever formation he plays, it looks like the players are going to put 110% effort in, and that's all we can ask as fans, right?
I'm going to talk about particularly the midfield because Jose's already raised it, but I did read something on X or somewhere, or maybe on Facebook, that 70% of the world's surface is covered by water, and the rest is covered by Pat Matasar. I just thought that was telling.
I thought the 70% was covered by you, Ian. I thought the 70% was covered by you, mate.
Careful. I have 2 buttons, one that can put you into orbit and one that can make you leave the studio. Or maybe just use the nuclear option. But the nuclear
option is I go to bed. It's right next to me, mate. I could go to bed.
Yeah. I know that feeling. Let's just talk about some of the big talking points of the game, and then we'll talk in more general terms about our performance and where players are fitting in and what have you. Callum, I'll leave it to you. We've seen the goal. I'm going to talk about the offside in a minute, but it was a glorious goal, played out of defence, Rishi running through, and once again a fabulous finish by Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it's a proper team goal, isn't it? And it's what you want from Richie as well, not just playing as a number 9, but being able to hold the ball up, read the lines properly, and then play it off. It's brilliant. And we say that Johnson doesn't score goals, he doesn't do enough. But I think just to get a goal like that is enough, to be honest. I mean, he has got 2 in 2. Richie's got 2 in 2. They're scoring goals, and it broke the game down, considering that we'd been sort of 50-50 with City up until this point, and then just that opened the game wide open. I think. So, no, really good goal, really positive play from them to switch it from right to left as well. And just I think the audacity for Johnson just to hit it first time as well was great as well, to be honest, for me. I just thought it was such a smart finish. Maybe Trafford could have done better with it, but really, really positive with the play. And I know they put the VAR up for offside to start off with. Everyone was very nonchalant about it, but he timed his run really, really well. And when you look at it, it's pinpoint. It's what you want from him. And that seems to have been brilliant in Richie's game now. Since Frank's come in, he's taught him how to hold his line, how to play through the lines as well, how to make them pinpoint runs that he was lacking, I think, with Ange for a lot of the time. It just feels like these two have a new air of energy about them as well. And it's all the better for seeing, to be honest, because we're reaping the rewards for it in the last 2 games at least.
Absolutely. Jose, I was going to bring you in on this. I mean, one of the things I was watching on the telly, as I suppose all of us were. I don't think anyone here was at the game. But looking at Manchester City players, they looked really deflated as soon as they conceded that goal, as much as, oh, it's Tottenham, here we go again.
I think they huffed and puffed Man City, and I think in the end they were devoid of ideas. But in all honesty, I mean, although they're absolutely brilliant, Man City, and they've got a superb squad, whether I'm right or wrong in saying this, over the last couple of years, put it this way: if Haaland plays for any other team in the Premiership, he scores more goals than what he does at Man City. They seem to play a style of football, and they don't seem to feed Haaland enough for me. And I just think that they ran out and they were devoid of ideas yesterday. But it's not the first time. I felt like they were like that last season. I felt like that it began the season before last, towards the end of the season. It just felt, they didn't use him enough. Again, yesterday against us, they didn't use him enough again. We knew what they were going to do. Obviously, Frank and the coaches had done their homework on Man City, and we knew what they were going to do, and they just didn't feed Haaland. I just think that they've got a lot of players that they're still trying to integrate into the squad as well, but they are very, very good players, and at the end of the day, they got frustrated because they couldn't break us down, but they'll all, to a man, they would all turn around and say, do you know what? We were beaten by the better side today. Man for man, we were beaten by the better side today, and they'd all have to say that. Yeah. It wasn't even a close. It wasn't 2-0, even without the scoreline. For me, it wasn't even a close game. It was like one of them slam dunks, or it's a slam dunk game for me. It wasn't even close.
Tom, let me bring you in on the offside. You can talk about the goal if you want, but what really bothered me was this. I mean, I look at it for the first time he went through. I think that's offside, and when the flag went up, I wasn't surprised. And then when they freeze-framed it, to me it was absolutely obvious that Stone's feet were behind Richarlison's shoulder, because the arm was outstretched. But that can't be offside. You can't be offside from any part that can't legitimately score a goal. The hand can't. And what worried me was it took 2 minutes to do something that's meant to be so-called semi-automated. So do you have any idea why that might have been?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was working, so I didn't see the game live, so I didn't realise it took quite so long for them to make that decision. But the semi-automated is by definition semi-automatic, right? So there still has to be an element of human input into this. So even they've said that on the very, very, very close ones, they still might have to draw lines and all of this malarkey and crap. But I think the problem they had initially at one point with our semi-automated system was that it was kind of the microchip in the football was patented by, I want to say, Adidas. And then obviously for the last few years, Premier League footballs have been Nike. So they couldn't get the microchip, and that's why they couldn't get the semi-automated system in for us. But now it's Pumable, but clearly there's something, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's a bit worrying if it's taken that long to make an offside decision. That's quite clear and obvious to see with your thing. I imagine if the team wasn't Man City that we were playing and it was Sunderland or someone like that, that the decision would have been done quite a bit quicker, considering that Trafford probably shouldn't have been on the pitch for the second half.
Come
But
back to because I know a lot of people. I don't have that view, but that other people do. Adrian, let me bring you in on. We've started to talk about Brennan Johnson, and I called him Marmite Johnson last week because he's a player that a lot of people love to hate, but the reality is he can't stop scoring. I've read on Twitter that Brennan Johnson's worked out that the fullbacks can't defend the far post for 90 minutes. And he just seems to have this knack of getting into the right position. And not only that, being able to finish the work that's done by others setting him up.
Well, he has a striker's instinct. I've warmed to him, and he can finish. And he's not a tapping merchant. And credit to that goal also. We see a similar one at Ipswich when Scarlett flicked the ball on. Sarr flicked the ball on for Richarlison. And actually the cross from Richarlison was good. Whether the defender should have got to the ball before him, but the finish, it was exquisite. It was a great finish. This kid can finish from outside the box and all that. He's got it. The biggest grouse for the Spurs fans is like, where's the work rate? Or you don't beat your man on. But he's not a winger. He's an inside forward, and he can finish. And as long as he keeps doing that, he's a good squad player. He's not going to play every game, but he's a good squad player. And you can sort of see, and they must see a lot of him in training for him to get his position. I don't like him on the left. I'll be honest, I've said it. He's not a left winger. He's only beaten his man twice, I think, in pre-season in games that we've seen so far. But he is obviously a talent. He's one of those like, and we can't, as fans, we can't quite see it. Last season's 18 goals, for example. I mean, if you hadn't got the 18 goals, it would have been very much more toxic than it has been abandoned by sections of our fan base. But if he'd applied work rate last season and got 18 goals, they'd think a bit differently. And I think he took a lot of flack because although he got 18 goals, he's just another target to fire at when you finish 17th in the league. So I try to be fair and balanced about all aspects of our club. And I am a positive person by nature anyway. But I think this kid's even got a higher ceiling. I'd like to see him play through the middle. And we may see him do that. You don't necessarily have to play with two number 9s. On the continent, they don't. They usually play with quicksilver forwards, right? So, and he's got pace. He is very fast, but we haven't seen him use his pace to go past players. But he's looking a player. He started off where he, left off last season. I mean, I'm growing. I like this kid a lot.
Let me bring Jose in on that because you were talking, your numbers and formations. I mean, if you were playing a 3-5-2 or a 5-3-2, Brennan Johnson with a sort of free role alongside a Richarlison or a Solanke actually poses a lot of attacking threat.
Yeah, I mean, there's different ways that you can play him. I mean, to me, at the end, look, it's obvious. Whatever we bought him for at the club to be a touchline winger, he is not a touchline winger. For me, he will always be an inside forward, right, or someone that plays off a forward, right. Always, forever and a day. I remember his days at Forest, and that's the way he played at Forest. That's the way he plays for Wales. the way that Tottenham used him last season was totally different, and the season before was totally different. However, in the system that Thomas Frank coaches, what I have noticed about Brennan Johnson is that he's a team player. He's defending ethic. You can see that he gets back to defend. He's not just hanging about at the top end of the pitch. He's now working for the team, and it bodes well that he's putting in the defensive work as well as the attacking work. He's I don't know what his stats are like, but for me, he's got to be. I think he's one of the best finishers in the Premiership. So when you look at the amount of chances that he gets to conversion, I would have thought that his chances to conversion are pretty high because he just takes them, one touch and scores goals.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time. What he did yesterday, it's not the first time. He keeps doing it all the time. So, like I said, I'm not a stats person. I ain't got the stats in front of me, but I would have thought his conversion rate to his attempts must be pretty high. And yeah, he's added a bit more to his game with Thomas Frank, where he does the defensive side of the work as well. And that's good to see because that's what we need. Yesterday, it wasn't about individuals for me, Ian. Yesterday, it was a team. It was a collective effort yesterday. And Johnson, his goal was part of that collective, but his defending and his off the ball work was part of that teamwork as well. So at the end of the day, long may it continue.
Yeah. Carl, let's bring you in on the second goal. 45 plus 2, Polinia, great pressing. I mean, that was the kind of goal that we were going mad when last season, when Ange's teams were, to use a technical term, pissing about at the back and giving the ball away easily. And we absolutely did to Manchester City what other teams were trying to do to us yesterday. And I mean, they really were all at sea, all of them, at the back, in the back four there.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, I thought we was playing a game of ping pong with them in the box. I'm not going to lie, or a game of ping ball. It was going backwards, forwards. It was all over the place. But the fact that we've managed to force Man City into that mistake shows how high Frank has them pressing when out of possession, which is great. I mean, it's what we want. We want front. Everyone was hesitant about Frank, saying that he's going to play pragmatic, boring football. It's going to be turgid, nothing like that. From what we've seen in the last two games, we've forced errors from other teams. This is what you want. You don't have to work for it. If the other team gives you these opportunities, you take them. And in all honesty, this is a great, great, great opportunity for us to say it, where we press so high, we force them to do a silly pass into the middle from Trafford when you've got your two centre-backs playing either side of you. I mean, you never play in front of you as a goalkeeper. You play to your left or your right to go either side. And to be honest, in all honesty, the fact that he's dropped it so deep to Gonzalez and it's just been picked up is ridiculous. And I saw a few Man City fans going, we had a mass deflection on it. It didn't. It shouldn't count and all that. I really don't care, in all honesty, because literally Paulinia's finish is great. I mean, you know me, I've been sceptical about him, but I mean, from what I've seen of him, very positive signing. Won't say great signing, but a very positive signing. And the fact that Richie once again is involved in that goal and doing that. And I believe, was it Sarr who was the first man who picked it up from Gonzalez's weak pass as well? I mean, literally, what can you do? I mean, you can't. That's what you want, everyone involved. And it was a great, great finish as well. And it put us 2-0 up just before half time, which made, I think, Frank's job a little bit easier as well, to say the least.
Is there anybody in the chat or amongst my panel who thinks that Paulinia's been anything other than a 10 out of 10 signing so far?
So with Paulinia, I did say that Paulinia, if we get Paulinia didn't play, he had an injury and didn't play much for Bayern. I think he started 6 games, or he played 6 games last season. underused, undercooked. He's still undercooked at the moment, but I did say that if Paulinho is the same person that played for Fulham the season before, before he went to Bayern, then we would have a real good player on our hands, because he was the unsung hero at Fulham. He made Fulham tick. Everything
Yeah.
Fulham did, both defensively and attack, all started with Paulinho.
Mm.
But Paulinho has been a very, very good signing. But equally, the man that plays beside him has gone unnoticed and has been absolutely terrific against PSG, against Burnley when he came on, and yesterday. And that's Rodrigo Bentancur. Bentancur, Paulinho, and Sarr, the three of them. Like I said, the game was won yesterday from them three playing and communicating to each other, passing players off, and that. It was a rate. What we saw yesterday was absolutely brilliant from all three. But yeah, he's a great, for me, he's a great signing.
Tom, you've been surprised just how good he's been. I mean, I knew he was good at Fulham, but I'm worried that at Bayern he didn't really set the heather alight, and then he's come to us, and you just look at a player like that and think, yeah, it's something that we've lacked for. I don't think we've ever really replaced Moussa Dembele. I know there's some different type of players, but someone with that aggression that can't get shaken off the ball easily, that tackles, and he's a better passer of the ball than some people thought as well.
Short answer, no, I'm not surprised in any way, shape or form. He was a fantastic player, and you know, it just didn't work for him at Bayern for whatever reason it may be. But you get that with players. There's some teams that they go to that it doesn't work at. There's some leagues they go to that it doesn't work at. I'm not surprised in any way, shape or form. He's an experienced head, and in the 2 seasons that he had at Fulham, he made almost. I think he made 300 tackles as in the league over a period of 2 seasons, which was approximately 120 more than the next closest player to him, which was Moises Caicedo. Like, he is an absolute animal for trying to win the ball back. And people were going on about his passing. And the reason why people were saying that is because everyone felt that we needed a more creative, deep-lying playmaker type player with Frank coming in. With Ange, we felt like we needed the Destroyer 6, whatever you want to call it, or Monster 6 in terms of what Paulinho more is. But I said before we even got him, I was like, the reason why you bring Paulinho in is because we don't have a player like that, and it gives you options. Yeah. He's not going to play every game, nor does he need to play every game. But the games that he's going to play, he's going to be the linchpin and the person who's so important. And the thing for me that was really refreshing to see is that we now have a midfielder who has brains in terms of they'll track runners who go past them. And also, if Romero steps out or Van der Ven steps out to go make a tackle or to run forward with the ball, he steps back into their position and covers their position so we can't get done by like a quick turnaround and a ball over the top. That's just something that he has gathered through his years and years and years of experience of playing that. And the thing is, when I look back at all the best Spurs teams that I've kind of bore witness to in my lifespan, all the best Spurs teams have had a midfielder whose sole purpose is just win the ball back. You know, Scott Parker next to Luka Modric, Wanyama next to Dembele. You know, those are the sort of our best Spurs teams have been.
Eric Dyer alongside Moussa Dembele.
Yeah, so but initially you had Eric Dyer, but Eric Dyer was actually fantastic in that position. And especially with the fact that when Poch was playing him there, he was playing him as a defensive midfielder who would step back to make a 3-man defence as well. So, and actually Eric Dyer was much better in that role than he was actually being a centre-back. The second he put on a bit of muscle and a bit of weight and he lost his kind of mobility, he became a much worse player for it. When he was a bit more slight and nimble and playing in that midfield, he was actually a very decent ball winner. But there's a reason why we brought Wanyama in to upgrade on Eric Dyer in that position. And we played our best football when we had Wanyama in the team. We played our best football when we had Scott Parker in the team. And their job was purely win the ball back, give it to someone else. And Paulinho can win the ball back, but he can also pick out a pass as well. He's not the best passer in the world, but he can pick out those long switch balls, which is going to be really important.
Yeah. Yeah. Before I bring Adrian in, I'll ask you one question because you alluded to it a couple of minutes ago when you were speaking. Bournemouth, is that the sort of game you maybe bring in a Bergvall or a Gray rather than playing Polinia?
Possibly, but at the same time, with the way that Bournemouth play, you might say actually having that more defensive person there. I think that what is refreshing is that we just don't know, and if we don't know, then the opposition ain't going to know either. So they have nothing to prepare for because they're just not sure who is going to be that player, that midfield that's going to play there. But there is definitely going to be games that we play this season where we're not going to need Paulinho starting in the midfield, and you can look at using Bergvall and Bentancur, or even playing Sarr and Bergvall with if we get this creative number 10 in. Stuff like that. So we just have with Paulinho there, we have a lot of options, and the best thing about Paulinho there is that it's completely unlocked Bentancur, because Bentancur doesn't have to worry about being the defensive guy that's worrying about things happening behind him. He can just be a guy who gets on the ball, can take on a man, lay it off, and you're just seeing a complete different Bentancur with that solid person next to him.
You'll be making me say when Bentancur plays well, Spurs play well thing in a minute, but I'm going to keep saying it until everybody gets it. Adrian, Tom mentioned this earlier, so I'll go around the panel the other way, anti-clockwise on this. A lot of controversy whether Trafford arguably committed 2 red card offences. First, one handball, and secondly, coming out and blocking, taking out Sarr. How did you see it?
I thought he should have gone, but that's my opinion. Just on the other thing, in case you guys don't know it, Ian, I don't think there'll be any changes against Bournemouth because you probably haven't looked as far as I have, and we've got the 2-week international break after the Bournemouth game, so I think Frank will go strong. And I didn't say Angela, did I? Right? No, I thought Trafford had a bit of a mare, didn't he? Really. This is the bit where you get automated VAR, and you get human interference, and you go, I think they bottled it personally, VAR. I think they bottled it.
Gone. What should he have gone for? What was the red card offence as you see it?
I thought the lunge in the chest.
Okay. What about the handball?
You're not going to send a goalkeeper off the handball, are you? Really, I don't think. I mean,
It's outside the box.
But outside the area.
Yeah, it's outside the area. It's a red. If they deem it to be, on purpose, then yeah.
Yeah. I suppose he could have gone for both. Really, that was a bit perplexing. I suppose most Spurs fans well, they wouldn't have seen it at the ground so clearly. I mean, looking back at it and back it again, when I looked at it, I thought, yeah. But in real time, I thought the lunge was worse. I don't know what you guys thought.
Callum, your turn. What do you think? I mean, I'll give an opinion in a minute.
I just thought it just showed a rash young keeper, to be honest. It was reckless. I mean, the fact that he committed 2 at least cardable offences in the matter of 2 seconds. So I honestly don't know, but I think that he probably should have been sent off for the high leg challenge, but I don't think the handball element, because it kind of rolled up his arm, if you get what I mean. I've seen these stupid rulings for it. So I don't know, maybe that, but if we say that he should have been sent off, then we'd have had Edison by that time, wouldn't we? And it might not have been much better. So it's small margins, and to be honest, it's one of them where I don't think it would have made much difference to us. Yeah, I'd say red card for the high knee challenge, but debatable on the handball.
Jose?
I thought he could have gone for both. I didn't know what VAR were doing. I don't even know where VAR checked for both. It happened all so quickly, and it was just dismissed ever so quickly as well. So, at the end of the day, you got to play to the whistle, as they say, Ian. And
Yeah.
we played to the whistle. There was no red card. There was no foul. There was no foul play. There was nothing at all. So,
Yeah. Tom?
Red card for knee to chest. He was reckless. Like, he didn't come out with any way of getting the ball. Like, he come out with his leg up high, his knee has hit Kudus in the chest, then the ball has gone and hit his arm. I'm not fully. I don't think it's a red card for a purposeful handball, because I don't think he's purposefully handballed it. I think he's come out as a keeper normally would, but with his knee up high to try and get the ball, he's completely missed it. He's hit Kudus in the chest with his knee. Kudus, if he doesn't get taken out by the goalkeeper, is running through on goal to score. It's a red card. I don't know how anyone can argue it any other way, because it's reckless. So you can't come out like, as a goalkeeper, when I played in goal, which wasn't for many seasons, but when I was being trained, you was always told in your box, if the player's running towards you and you're coming out to catch the ball, you always bring a knee up to protect yourself. Well, he's not going to catch the ball because he's outside of the box. He's just gone with his knee up very, very high, and he's hit him in the chest. It's reckless. If a player's done that in any other part of the pitch, and it's not a goalkeeper, it's completely reckless. Add to the fact that if he doesn't make that challenge, if he doesn't connect with Kudus with his knee, Kudus is running through to score a goal in an empty net. By the law, it's a red card.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Ederson comes back in. I don't know who they're playing next week, but wouldn't surprise me if Ederson comes back in. As someone I think said in the chat, a young goalkeeper might be just a little bit too early for him to be in that goldfish bowl. My view, I wasn't as bothered by some. I say this as an ex-referee. I wasn't looking at that and thinking, Jesus, that's a red card. I mean, the handball, no. Hand was at his side, hits the arm, no movement of the hand to the ball, no intent, no infringement. The knee up, yeah, maybe. But what got me was he actually got quite a lot of the ball, and then his momentum took him through. So for me, not a red. But
Ian, yeah, he got a lot of the ball. What part of his body did he get a lot of the ball with?
He got a lot of the ball with his knee.
No, he didn't.
Oh yes, he did. It's pantomime season.
No, he didn't. I've been watching it. He didn't. The only part of his body that touched the ball was his arm. Now, I don't think it was an intentional handball, so I wouldn't give.
But before the ball went out, he got the ball. It knocked it onto Kudus, and Kudus knocked it back onto his arm. We'll have to have a look at
the video. I'm watching.
What are we? Bloody VAR? Rechecking it, seeing it backwards and forwards. Oh, yeah, it touched this, it touched that. Well, to be fair, we could probably do a better job than that lot that was doing it yesterday, to be honest, at Stockley Park. But that's, to be honest, let's put it this way. It's happened. PMGOL will do a statement tomorrow. We'll have a look on Ref Watch on Sky Sports. They'll say, no, it's Man City, so nothing should have been given. And yet we still won the game 2-0. So I think we're all happy, and we're still sitting, second in the league now? Something like that?
Would you like me to move on, Cal?
Well, you can do if you want, Ian. It would be nice.
The fact of the matter is, like, I completely agree, Cal. We'll gloss over it because we won, but we shouldn't, because these referee. If we hadn't have won, then that is a big mistake, and it shouldn't be a difference between you've won, so it doesn't matter, and you've lost, so it does matter. Like, it's a terrible decision that should have been a red card, and we should be talking about it. because they shouldn't be allowed to get away with it just because the result's gone the way of the team that didn't benefit from the decision that should have gone through them.
I saw a refereeing performance with Craven Cottage on the telly that had me absolutely mystified. I mean, Bassi concedes a penalty for hauling down whatever. At the same, or was it? Have I got it the wrong way around? At the same time, where Luke Shaw, I think, has hold of Bassi, and they said, "Oh, well, that one happened ahead of that one," and I'm going, "What the hell?" And then Bassi gets pushed for the guy who scores the Man United goal, pushes him out the way, and VAR doesn't get involved in that, and I'm wondering, oh. What the heck? Anyway, look, let's move on. We're Spurs. We're not going to talk about Man United and their ever-increasing troubles. Cal, the first thing I noticed about the second half that I made a note of for the show tonight was it seemed to me we were sitting about 10 yards deeper the first 5-10 minutes. But we looked we looked even more dangerous on the counter-attack. You know, we weren't against Paris Saint-Germain where we just sat back and hoped they wouldn't score. Here, yeah, we defended deep to make sure that we didn't concede. But on the counter-attack, I thought we looked really, really dangerous.
Yeah, no, completely. I mean, the fact that by sitting deeper, we let City play a little bit in front of us, but then we're still closing all the space down. They had nowhere to move. I mean, Haaland must have been doing his nutting, to be honest, because literally, it's like Jose said earlier, if he played in a different team, he'd score so many more goals because they would try and play differently, but everything tries to go to him. And when it doesn't come off, it don't work. So the fact that we closed him out the game, we closed down Lewis quickly. We made Nathan Ake look like useless as a left back, to be honest. Oscar Bob was in Spence's pocket. We just closed them out. But then as soon as we released it for the counter-attack, we were so quick. I mean, it just looked like Richarlison, Kudus and Johnson were just there, just ready to spring, to be honest. So I thought it was really positive. But that 10 yards deeper gave us an element of control, I think, as well. And it didn't, they was getting into our box a little bit, but it wasn't like how it was with the Trafford goal up the other end. We always felt that someone would come across and recover it and cover it, to be honest. So, no, I was happy. And it kind of summed it up. I don't know whether anyone saw Frank's halftime interview with TNT that he did in the tunnel, saying that he told the players to be brave, to go out there, continue playing as they were. I think they showed bravery in that first 20 minutes or so of that second half, to be honest, because it was just purely controlled. Because City were up for it. They came out ready, but they was up for it without any teeth. To be honest, it was like eating your dinner and leaving your false teeth out. Let's put it that way. So I think that really, really positive from that. And that 10 yards deeper gave us control over it.
Yeah. Jose, that was pretty well spot on from Callum. But you were raising the point, and it's one I wanted to raise. So I'd like you to do the waxing lyrical about Palhinha, about Sarr, and about Bentancur as a unit in that midfield, and how they denied City any space to operate and create.
So can I just go back on the Haaland thing just quickly to tie it off? What I said about Haaland is the play that Man City play, they don't play through Haaland. And I believe that if Haaland was at any other Premiership club, he would be your focal point. You would play through to Haaland. And I think Man City dilly and dally with the ball too much without looking for Haaland. The amount of times that Haaland makes runs and runs and runs and they don't look for him, they don't even go to find him. Of note yesterday, I can only remember one cross coming in where they looked for Haaland and Haaland headed it over the bar. As for the midfield, what I was saying is with the midfield yesterday, I felt, as I said before the game, I thought it was a match-up between us and Man City. I thought it was a 4-2-3-1 on paper for both teams. And I said that our midfield, because Man City are fluid in the way that they play, from their players wide in the midfield, from their fullbacks and that, because they're so fluid, communication would be the key in the game, where our three midfielders would have to communicate to each other to hand over players. and to say who's coming on, and I felt the communication between all three players yesterday was on point. They did not put 1 foot wrong, all three of them, and they completely shut out all the runs. They nullified absolutely everything, and it didn't matter who was in that Blue City shirt. They nullified every single one of them. So they never selected one player and say, do you know what? We need to stay on that player. They didn't select the player. They were fluid in the way they marked. And as I said, for me, it was a communication. The communication between the three of them led to us to win that game.
Adrian, I mean, I don't know if you want to add to that. I mean, I thought those midfield three were going to ask about man of the match in a minute, because, I mean, I could give you 5 or 6 players and no one could argue, but the three in midfield were exceptional, weren't they?
Yeah, they were tigerish, weren't they? Closing down, battling. Yeah, the little bit about Haaland, he seems to have a mandatory miss against us, doesn't he? He's missed quite a few sitters against us in previous games. And he was playing he was a bit deeper, although he did put that through ball through to, I forget who it was, and Vicario made the brilliant save.
Yeah.
But you get the brilliant save and the odd mistake with Vicario as well, don't you? But I thought the midfield and even VDV, and I mean, the challenges that went in and the closing down, I mean, like, they had, I think we had 38% possession, but it's what you do with it. We had 12 shots to their 10.
Yeah.
I thought our midfield was superb, and it shows. I mean, Pauline has just been a game changer for us. He really has been a game changer for us. So, and then you got Bentancur back at his best, and Sarr playing up there. I mean, he always seems to be in the right place at the right time, and he scores against top teams, Sarr, doesn't he? Before against Man City, and like, he won the ball in our own half and ran into their half and crossed the ball for Brendan Johnson to score that wonderful goal against Man United in the Europa League Cup final. He just seems to, and people, and we all can't quite figure Sarr out, can we? Let's be honest. We all can't quite figure him out. We know he's very good.
He's 22. Is he? He's not 23 yet, is he? I mean, this is, I think, half the problem.
I'm not sure on that. I'm not sure on his age at the moment. Not the time.
But people are expecting some of these 18, 19, 20-year-olds to play with the maturity of a Palhinha, at the age of 30 or whatever. And I mean, I think what we're starting to see is Saab has got a manager who believes in him. He's playing a role. He's as fit. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he just runs and runs and runs.
We've got to start thinking. I mean, fans are still seem to be locked in like, a first 11. It's a squad game, right? It should be a first 18, really, about 18 players. You're never going to keep 25 excellent players like happy. And he's a very good squad player. Very good squad player. And Bentancur, I actually liked Bentancur before I had the ACL. When we went to Chelsea and he scored, I think, and I used to like the Bentancur that dragged us up the pitch, because every time he got the ball, we're at home or away, I was all expecting, right, we're going to drive up the pitch now. Now, I don't think the ACLs affect him as much as it would like a Michael Owen or a fast player who might use half a yard or a yard of space. Because he hasn't got to have that pace in midfield. It was noticeable against Burnley that even though he come on a sub, suddenly everything was calm to get us out. If you're nervous, even though you're 3-0 up or whatever, but you're not going to get across the line, he was just a calming influence when he came on. I think he's a fantastic player, and I think he's shown he's getting back to his best. And pace is not a question with him. It's not as though like it would affect him as much as it would a very rapid winger. So, I think he'll get his new contract because Frank wants him to have one, which says a lot. And the midfield, I thought the midfield were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I just say about Paulinho next week? I expect Paulinho to play and start against Bournemouth. Paulinho is not match fit because of Bayern. He's not yet match fit. The international week is the 2 weeks after next week, and I presume that Portugal do have a game, but he's not a likely starter for Portugal, and therefore Therefore, we need to get minutes in the boys' legs. So therefore, I would be very shocked if he didn't start next week. Sorry.
That's all right.
I just pulled this out. Hang on, Adrian. That before I move this on, is that I think David Clark mentioned. I've heard Mourinho's name mentioned with that job, but it would appear that before the end of August, we're in for a managerial merry-go-round. That Nuno is gonna leave Forest. Brendan Rodgers, I can tell you from being up here, is very upset with what's gone on at Celtic. Rangers are in absolute crisis, but Celtic just haven't bought any players and haven't strengthened when, as ever, you need to keep refreshing and strengthening, particularly for Champions League. If they get into it this season, got a tough game in Kazakhstan. I would have thought that Potter's future at West Ham would be in some doubt as well. In fact, Nuno, I think, would be a great choice to go to West Ham. I think he'd tighten them up because they're absolutely all over the place defensively. But it's just to raise that because I think it's crazy. We're not 2 matches into the season, and we're already we might be 2 managers down, 10% of the managers out of work. But anyway, sorry, just a point. I don't know if anyone wants to add to that before.
I think that West Ham have got even bigger problems, and it doesn't matter whether it's Graham Potter at the helm or anybody else. The Sullivan Gold saga that's going on there, West Ham have got even bigger problems. The fact that they're not even going in and not buying players and that nobody wants to go to the club. You've got players that don't want to play. You've got players that want to leave the club. They are an absolute shipwreck at the moment.
We're going to talk about one of them during.
I think the only person who wants to play there is Jared Bowen, and that's because he's scared of both Dannys, ain't he? Just that he's going to get killed with a rusty garden weasel instead. Let's put it that way. So, but it's really interesting, like what Jose was saying about West Ham. The fact that it's toxic from the top to the bottom and the bottom up as well. The stadium doesn't feel right. The whole area doesn't feel right. The inside and outside of the club. The fact that Karen Brady goes on TalkSport straight after a game against Sunderland last weekend as well. What does that say to you? That they're just talking out their arse? I know we all complain about Spurs not communicating, but I'd rather us not communicate than just spout crap, if you get what I mean. But the fact that this is going to have a knock-on effect, Graham Potter will get sacked, Nuno will leave, Ange may come in, Rodgers will come in. How have we got a manager merry-go-round already that's going to cover at least 2 countries, maybe even 3? The fact that it could, even Jose's name being dropped in there, out in bloody Turkey as well. This is how
you always get 4 or 5 managers sacked before Christmas. That happens every season because you've got those in relegation zone. On the Nuno thing, Ian, we'll have all seen when Marinakis walked on the pitch to berate his manager. If I'm manager of any club like that, I'm going. I'm done now. You don't do that in front of the whole crowd for me. And then he's come out and made his little speech. And so he's going to go, but he's leveraging his way out. So he gets leveraged out and he gets his big payoff, right? And I think if Marinakis is going to keep behaving the way he is, not just with their transfer and all that, then no one's going to want to go and manage Forest. They're not going to work under those sort of extremes.
The thing is, though, Adrian, with Forest, I know, Ian, you want to move on just quickly. It's not actually between Marinakis and Nuno. It's actually between Nuno and Edu. Edu's the new director of football operations and recruitment chief. They've gone, whereas last year, Nuno had a say on all the signings. Now it looks like how West Ham did with their model, where Forest are buying the players for the manager to use. It's not the manager says, I want these players. It's no, the club are buying them, you'll use them, sort of thing. There's a lot of players that apparently they've bought this summer that Nuno didn't want or has not wanted. And Douglas Luiz apparently is one of them. And he's
That's
just
the continental way. That's always happened at Barcelona and Real Madrid, and it's the continental system. Well, Nuno should know that before he takes the job. That should be made clear.
Yeah, but that wasn't like that until Edu's come along. Because when Nuno took the job on at Forest, Edu wasn't there.
Okay.
He's only just gone there this summer, hasn't he? Leaving Arsenal, and I
Yeah.
mean, whereas with the Arsenal way, it's Arteta has a say, the Cronkies have a say, and Edu had a say. Now it looks like Marinakis has just gone, right, you've taken over my world operations for football, like the sort of City way, which Tixley Bergstein had for them. He's just obviously gone as well from City Group. It's this director of football has so much power that they will outlive managers. That's the thing. And it looks like Nuno's writing's on the wall because of Edu coming in. And in all honesty, I don't see how it should be, because Nuno was the one who got them success last year. And yeah, Edu's come in, he's bought a load of players, and Nuno's apparently meant to deal with it. So that's why I'm glad Spurs don't have this model at the end of the day. I'd rather us not sign players and get this crap than have all of this going on, if you get what I mean.
I still think a big part of this is actually Marinakis, because he comes on the pitch, he bans Gary Neville from the ground, so you get an insight to what he's like, right? And then, you know, he's a multi-billionaire, and then he goes on and breaks his manager on the pitch. If that was me, I wouldn't want to be there after that. I'd be looking for a way out, seriously. And I agree, the Edu things probably has something to do with it as well. But as well, maybe it might be the main factor. But to me, you do not go on anyone in management. I was in management for 40 years. You just don't do that to any staff you've got with you and all that, or people that work under you. You just don't do that. It's a complete no-no, you know.
Yeah. Going to talk about transfers, but before that, because just for the chat, we're trying to run to about an hour and a half. Some of my guests have got other things to do, like sleep and silly. Man of the match. I mean, you know, Porro was excellent. Spence, the two central defenders, particularly Van der Ven, the midfield players, Richarlison worked hard. I mean, but probably the midfield it has to come from. But let me go through, Tom. Let me get your man of the match first.
Sarr.
Jose?
My captain, Cuti Romero, he put out every single fire. And when he went into the tackle, he won the tackle and he won the player as well. Fair and square. And it was unfortunate, that yellow card, because it was nowhere near a yellow card. But I thought Cuti Romero ate Man City yesterday alive.
So that's one for Sarr, one for Romero. Cal?
I'm going to have to go with Tom on this one, and I don't usually agree with him, but I'm going to have to go for Sarr, mate. I'm going to have to go for Sarr. That man is, I swear he licks batteries at half time, to be honest. He just kept going. He was unreal.
Adrian?
Thomas Frank.
That's a great answer. Yeah, you've just won the internet tonight. Thomas Frank, man of the match. Yeah, I can go with that. He's certainly a 10 out of 10. I'm giving it to Polinia, but it could be any of them. It really could be any of them. And I think that's always a good sign when you've got several contenders for man of the match. I just love Polinia. But I agree about Sarr was fantastic. And Benton seems to have got another lease of life. People talking about selling him. I mean, I think you've got to be absolutely cuckoo to want to sell him. I think he's a fantastic player. And I think Polinia alongside him is only going to help him, give him the freedom to move forward. But yeah, any comments in the chat about man of the match? They're debating Polinia I've got from Adam. Polinia by a country. Well, there you go. So I've got a couple of votes for Polinia, but
You've got Sarr in there as well. Someone's voted Sarr as well.
Could be nicknamed Duracell. I think that's probably fair comment.
Ian, can I just interrupt and just give the channel a plug? We've been going an hour.
No, we don't.
No,
want to
okay.
do that.
All right, then.
Yeah, and we'll do El Tel Cockerel while we're at it.
Yeah,
right?
while we're here, we'll plug those guys as well. Yeah, everyone get up to Jose's channel. He's a few short of how many, Jose, for whatever numbers it is?
I need 3 more subs for 12.50.
Well, we've got 90 of you viewing us on various platforms now. The subscribe button's in the bottom right-hand corner, the red YouTube subscribe button. Please subscribe to the channel. We are a fledgling show, right? Our shows do go out every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday at 10 o'clock. We may throw the odd one in if there's something more exciting or breaking news to come along. We have a Facebook group, which I started 2019 when the stadium opened. It's got 14,500 members in it. There's about 4,000 active each month in there. We've got an XCOM channel you can visit as well. It's got 3,270 subscribers to it. And at this stage, just to say a big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to you for your comments and questions. Big up to the 90 of you watching us on various platforms. And please get over to Eltel Cockerell. We're closely associated with Eltel. We've known each other a long time. And get over there and subscribe to his channel. Yeah. And with that, all I can say is thanks again, and back to you, Ian.
Yeah. How many subscribers have we got? We've got 1,300 now, haven't we? Or...
We're 1,412, I think I looked at. So we're trying to get 1,500 guys, yeah?
Oh,
we've been going 14 months, only 14 months. So it's not bad. Not bad.
That's brilliant. Jose, do you want to plug your channel and stick a link up for us?
I've put a link in there if you've got it. If you could bring it up, I've put a comment in there, haven't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the top. There you go. Yeah, Eltel Cockerell. Yeah, all things Tottenham first and foremost. All things Tottenham. And yeah, you'll always find me talking Tottenham. I don't stop talking Tottenham. I love my club as passionately as everybody else on the screen, and as passionately as you guys in the chat as well. That's why we're all here at the end of the day.
There you go. And there's a comment from Brett. It's one of my 2 YouTube channels I watch, Top Channel. I don't know if it's ours or Eltel Cockerell. Maybe
no,
it's
yours. It's yours.
It's yours. Eltel Cockerell, because it is.
Big up, Brett.
Can't watch every show, but Jose's show's always worth watching. So right, let's talk about the transfers. Would it be fair, Cal, to say there's a frantic last week coming?
Yeah, in all honesty, I mean, I know we've all chatted this week. I think all 5 of us have been commenting constantly on stuff, and we get one bit of information last week, we then get another bit, and then another bit, and it turns out crap. I mean, I know Adrian covered a lot of the stuff Friday on his show about the different bits, but last week was a mess. I think everyone can probably put their hands up and say that realistically it didn't help how it ended. Frank pretty much summed that up in that press conference Friday, and it's kind of hit a little bit again tonight. If you don't want to wear the badge, don't come to Spurs. Simple as that. And I think that's very fitting throughout where we've been talking about this transfer window. Gibbs White, Eze, now Paz tonight with this deal going in, or this offer that went in yesterday that has now been rejected by them because he sees his future not even at Como, he sees his future at Real Madrid. So that one's gone.
But let me talk about the Paz one, because we can take that out. Why are we bidding on a player? Now, you made a comment earlier on one of the chat groups that there are 4 interested parties here, which is Como, Tottenham, us, and presumably the player. There's 4. I don't know if there's anyone else or a player.
Yeah, so it's Real, the agent, Como, and us. And it's like what the guys were saying about the director of football model in Europe. This is a European transfer strategy: buyback clause, sell-on clause, matching clause, and then I think what else was it? It was them 3, and then a staggered buyback clause as well that would increase each year as the player got better. It's a minefield, and the fact that we are going for these is quite concerning, and it's got Paratici's name written all over this strategy, to be honest, because a lot of these players would be who he's looked at in Europe. But the fact, if you go for someone who has that many clubs involved, you start this weeks ago. You don't just do it a week before the end of the transfer window, do you? It just screams... It screams panic.
But it screams to me about someone has really not engaged their brain before they've engaged their telephone or their keyboard, in terms of saying, what is the model that allows this to work? given that Madrid have got a buyback at next season of, it's probably this one's expired, I don't know, 9 million euros. The player probably wants to go to Madrid, back to Madrid. Where is the logic? We offer apparently 70 million euros that's rejected. Because if Como take that, Madrid can match it. But why would they match it when they can get the boy back next season for 10 million euros? Or they then have to pay 35 million. They have to pay 35 million euros to Madrid to sell to us, and then they say, well, we've just given one of the top players in Europe away for 35 million. I don't see any logical way that we can do that deal, in which case, why are we even?
Because Spurs want to show intent. They have to keep the fan base on side as such, because we've seen Gibbs White, Eze, everyone. And I know me and Tom have had this debate on the group chat as well, because we're both of the same opinion now. It's a fucking joke. It's a farcical, isn't it now? It's all paper pushing. And if you throw down a £70 million figure and he gets out to the tabloids, you win fans back, because they say, oh, well, at least we tried. Well, yeah, we might be trying, but we're trying for impossible, reckless targets. Now, if we did this at the start of June, I might understand it, because then at least we've shown intent. But now we are wasting time. And if you're a club, you do your due diligence. This just screams that you haven't, because if we're talking that we've got to speak to Real Madrid, speak to Como, speak to the agent, and then we've then got to get ourselves sort of sorted, it doesn't work. And any deal with sort of Real Madrid or Barcelona buyback clauses in, if you're a sane and stable club, you steer clear of them, because they obviously value the player. They know what there could be in the future. Why would you do it? It just screams no sense, because they can trigger a clause, and one way or another, these clubs will still get money out of it. And if they've already got this plan with Como in place, then surely we must have asked about it. We must have known about it. And it just makes no sense, in all honesty. It seems like...
Can I ask you a question, Callum?
Yeah,
Right.
Go for it, mate.
Is there any truth, or is this? It's either going to be truth or it's going to be crap. Because I know you said the thing about it stinks of Paratici. Is there any truth in the rumours that have been circulating in the last few days that I saw, that Johan Langer went back to his country for 2 weeks holiday very recently?
I honestly don't know that. I know there was a link from last weekend saying that he may have gone away, but then I believe that people saw pictures of him with Vinay and Daniel at the Etihad yesterday. So it all smells kind of ratish, if you get what I mean. I don't think. I'm talking
about a few weeks. This was a rumor that circled about a week and a half ago. It's not now just come out now. It's about a week and a half ago.
It was after the Burnley game, wasn't it? That apparently he got in a taxi and went to Copenhagen or something like that for a couple of days. I don't think that's true, to be honest.
Okay. Because when you said Paratici's involved, then I'm thinking, I'm trying to draw the dots in. I'm thinking, no wonder Paratici's got involved when our bloke's gone away. So
it's just when you look at how many names have been linked in the last couple of days: Lookman, Savinho, Paqueta, Hincapi, Paz. These are all deals in this. El Canus being another one of them. Akaluche as well. They're all
Pellegrini.
Yeah, Pellegrini as well. There's 3 to 4 players in each position, and if you start connecting the dots, that's how Paratici's strategy was when he was director of football for us. Like when we went for, I think it was Spence or Emerson Royale, it had Tomiyasu, all of these different people in that position. It all sort of seems to be his playbook. I can't confirm it, but it seems to be his playbook that's going along at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my understanding, let's bring maybe one or two of the others in before we talk about specific names. Tom, I mean, what I was understanding was that particularly with the relationship between Lange and Thomas Frank, that this wasn't a matter of this scattergun approach. We were picking one or two players. If we couldn't get the one or two players we wanted, we were just drawing a line under it. Now it just seems to be, you know, football bingo here with just calling out names, calling out numbers in the hope that someone shouts house and we've got a footballer. It's no way to run a business.
I mean, it's literally just absolute panic stations, and it's completely and utterly Tottenham Hotspur's own fault. In fact, 6 weeks ago now, 6 weeks ago, the whole Morgan Gibbs White thing fell through. I think might be 6 weeks ago, the whole Morgan Gibbs White thing fell through. We then took 2.5 to 3 weeks to then start going for Eze. We took 2.5 weeks to try and make a deal work for Eze that then fell through. And now we've got 7 days of the window left, and it's suddenly panic. And it's just ridiculous that it's why you be it or not that you okay, Morgan Gibbs White was clearly the player we wanted. It didn't work. Okay, so who's next on the list? Is that player going to work? Let's start getting this deal done. Not waiting 3 weeks to figure out if Eze wants to come to us or not, who didn't want to come to us, and then wasting time and out. I'm very much on board with, if you can't get the right player in, the players that you want, then you're probably better off not getting any player in, because you don't want to end up with someone who's at your club that you don't want a year later. Completely on board with that. My problem is that this Nico Paz deal reeks of "we tried" FC. They knew that was never going to go through. I'm sorry if they, and also we've offered 70 million for a young player who's only played sort of one full season at top level, yet we couldn't stump up money for Eberiche Eze. It just screams absolute PR horseshit to me, if I'm honest with you. I think it's a case of, we tried for this one, we tried for this one, we tried for this one, we tried for this one. This is the person who said yes to us. Isn't he amazing? He said yes. He's the best one, and that will end up being someone like Elkanus, who actually I think we should get. I think he's a very good player. I would have picked him ahead of probably Nico Paz, and in some respects, I would have picked him above Eze, because I think he's a much more suited to the style of number 10 that we need in comparison to Eze. But I felt Eze is such a top player that you take him if you can get him. Anyway, by the by, he's gone to Arsenal, whatever. I can't understand. I said this in the group chat. I was like, we seem to do this thing at Tottenham where we wait until the last week of the window because we think we're going to get ourselves some deals. And in the past, it's happened. We got Van der Vaart for pennies. Yeah, we've had the odd one where it's come through and it's been great. You get that bargain through, but what you also line yourself up for is completely panic buying and overpaying and ending up with a Moussa Sissoko for 30 million. Yeah. And we can't. It's just absolutely ridiculous that we've put ourselves into this position where we're now panic spraying offers around. But it like I said, it just, to me, just screams PR crap that we tried to sign. We tried, rather than actually being serious about it.
Adrian, it does, doesn't it? It's absolutely right. But it leads me to say, if I'm the chief executive officer or the chairman of Tottenham Hotspur, I'm saying, what is this football department actually doing that's costing me 10 million a year or whatever in wages? What are they?
Well, we don't know, do we? This is the thing, the lack of transparency. And there's a lot about transfers we shouldn't know, because otherwise other clubs can bump prices and things like that. The Morgans, Gibbs White and the Eze situation has just been a clusterfuck, hasn't it? You know, it's been shit. But at the same time, our recruitment team should have lists of players, right? From the beginning of the season, not round to now. We got Frank in late, right? And then we got to see who do you like on our list, if you like any of them or not. And if you've got a recruitment team, and like, let's just go through it. You've got Levy, the final say. You've got Vinny Venkatesham, right? You've got Rob McKenzie, who's a head scout. You've got Max Leggett, who's first team scout. You know, you've got Frank himself, and I forget who's head of strategy and whatever. There is a team there. Now, that team should have lists of players. Now, I'm not saying it's about first, second, third, or fourth choice, because I was quite happy. They should be players of similar quality, but you've got a preference over who you actually want to bring in. For example, you don't get Eze. I think Simons would be a good choice, and I wouldn't say it was a second choice either. I think he's quality. I would take him. Actually, I think the only reason I wanted Eze over Simons was because he's homegrown, and we've only got 7 homegrown. Now, but Simons, 23, he actually, I think, would give you more consistency, more energy, right, than an Eze would. Although I think Eze's a fantastic, maverick style of player.
Adrian, we could be on here all night talking about the players that we might get in 100 positions. I'm not going to go there. What I want to...
Sorry, can I just say, all I've got to say, and I said this on my show, right? I don't know how long ago it was that Morgan Gibbs-White signed the contract at Forest, right? Yeah. But since he signed the contract at Forest have gone out and bought 4 players. Tottenham have bought 0. That shows you how quick we are. That shows you that we have what kind of plans we've got in place. The answers are there. The answers are clear. And like I keep saying to people, the evidence, follow the trail of evidence, and you've got 25 years worth of that evidence. That evidence has now become facts because it's something that's happened in the last 25 years. So you've got factual facts that you can look at of how Tottenham Hotspur operate. We have been known to be a team that leaves it to lastminute.com. Yes, you can say that you get one jewel in the crown in 25 years on the last day, which was Van der Vaart. But how many times have we ended up with duds on the last day as well? More often than not.
Callum, let me bring you in on this, because you follow a lot of the same accounts as I do on X, and you've got some personal contacts with some of these people and others. Everything I've been reading over the last 24 hours, particularly since the Manchester City game, which is a bit longer now, is that Silvino wants Tottenham. We're close on fee. To me, a sensible thing is this is the price, make the offer. It's available till close of play tonight, and if you don't get the deal, you walk away. But we don't seem to do that. And what worries me is I think, this might get done. It might get done in the morning, and I'm talking shite. But I can just feel this dragging till Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it's still not done.
Are you talking Tuesday, the 2nd of September?
No.
Is that how we're going with that 7 o'clock on bloody deadline day?
To me, this is a classic case. If you can't do this deal, say by 5 o'clock on Wednesday, you walk away from it.
I think that's what we should do on all of these deals, to be honest. Yeah. If we know they're all duds, then we don't bloody do them, to be honest, and we don't spend 3 weeks. It's like Jose said, it's like Tom said, I think it's 4 weeks since the Morgan Gibbs-White deal, a week nearly now since we were apparently agreeing talks with Eze as well. So, yeah, I think based on the information we've all seen, heard, I've spoken to a couple of different people as well. Apparently, Spurs want Silvino to try and push the deal through from their side. We have people within Spurs who feel confident if their offer goes in. But at the end of the day, we're still competing with the CEO of Man City. We're not competing with a board member. We're not competing with a manager. We're competing with the head of City group in the UK, to be honest. So, I mean, it's an even bigger pain in the arse that's going to get in the way. So, realistically, we need to put in an offer that they cannot refuse. And if they do refuse it, don't put in another one unless they tell you how much it's going to take, or if they've told us how much it is going to take, we put that offer in and match it. Now, if not, move on. We go and move for someone, I don't know, Garnacho, Lookman, people like this that are backup options on these hundreds of lists that we've got. If we ain't going to get Savinio, just get rid of it and move on Tuesday. Don't leave it to Wednesday. Don't leave it to Thursday.
Callum, what about loans? What about Rodrigo? What about loans for Danny Olmo? What about loans or even Pellegrini, right? Oh, I think's been a fantastic player. He's only on $6 million a year wages. Roma want to offload him. He's 29 years of age, but we bought in Perisic, who wasn't a spring chicken either. I mean, like, what about that? Is there any interest in any of these?
Rodrigo's a dead duck. That's Spanish tabloid, and to be honest, he's on what, 300 grand a week, so not going to happen. Realistically, Danny Olmo's the same. I don't see him wanting to leave Barcelona, and if anything, Pellegrini is an 8. He's not even a 10. He's nowhere near the. We've already got that in Paulinho, so we might as well just get him in and get rid of Gray then.
I don't agree that Pellegrini is an 8. He can play anywhere, even on the wing. Even on the wing, I think he's a very versatile footballer, personally. But that's my opinion.
But Adrian, seriously, if we're not interested in these players, I'm seriously, I don't see the point in discussing players we're not interested in.
True.
If the players aren't interested in us, just move on.
That's that. In all honesty, I wanted to ask you guys this earlier. How many players do you think have actually said no to Spurs this summer? Because I bet it's a lot. In all honesty, I think just from what we've heard publicly, Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, Eze, Morgan Gibbs-White, the intent is there by Spurs, but I think because of the profile we've shown of players that we've signed the last couple of years, I don't think we can compete with these top ones, in all honesty. Not at the moment. And I don't think the Europa League has changed anything for us, just based on what I'm looking at. Because when you get rejected by that many big top players who are not even being targeted by the top clubs, what does that say about us? Unless the club at board level and negotiating level are really fucking about that much. It doesn't look good for us, does it?
No, but what about a couple of others? And what about what about Paqueta? What about Xavi Simons? We hear about a Chelsea interest, but they've got shift players. You know?
Spurs did approach Simmons, but he said no. He said that it's Chelsea or he might entertain an option at the end of the window, but then that's us doing our bargain bucket buys on the last day of the window. What does that make us look like? It makes it look like panic buying.
Because at the start of the window, we were talking about Cunha, Mbeumo, and Semenyo. We were talking about him. Why can't we just go back in for Semenyo? Or go, sorry, not go back in. Go. Yeah, but you can sign whatever contract you want. If you pay the money, there's a deal to be done. Bournemouth are known. You give them the dosh, Bournemouth sell. You pay 50, 60 million, Bournemouth sell.
You've just answered your own question, Jose.
Yeah, well.
Give them the money. It's not going to happen with Spurs, is it?
I love Semenyo, and I think he's proven in the last 2 games how class a player he is. And he definitely, I think, would have fitted the profile for Spurs. Let's put it that way. I don't know how strong their interest was because he signed his contract very quickly, didn't he, at the start of the window? That was about 6-7 weeks ago now. But there was at least tentative talks around him and a very good player. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did consider also looking at him in the future. But like you say, Paqueta is a new name as well that's come out. Apparently West Ham asked about Biss on Thursday and Friday evening. Paqueta's name was sent in sort of response to them from Spurs saying what are the conditions of his deal. But Biss would be used as a make weight. It's not, i.e., we give them Biss, they give us Paqueta. It's like, no, it would be Bissouma and money. It would be Bissouma and probably 40 million, I'd say, because what's Biss worth? 10, 15 at the best of times. If he's doing balloons, he probably devalues himself by 5. If he turns up late, he values himself by 10, so we might as well just give him. We might as well just pay for the taxi for him to go to East London himself. But I'd say there's definitely a. We would love Paqueta, wouldn't we? Because of just how much it would fuck up the West Ham fan base, to be honest, as well.
And your family,
Yeah,
Callum.
Oh, very much so, mate.
as well as it massively annoying West Ham, he's also a very bloody good player. Like, and there's a reason why Man City were willing to spend 70 million on him like 2 seasons ago. You know, he's obviously had like the betting scandal and all of that stuff. That's all now hopefully sorted itself, and he can get himself back. But he is a very, very good player, and he's one that we definitely should be looking at.
Yeah, I mean, if you said to me who I think in the next couple of days we'll hear a lot more on, it'd probably be Savinho, Paqueta, and Hincapié at the moment.
Yeah,
I mean,
please.
What about
Because-
Garnacho? What about Garnacho?
Right. What?
Pardon?
Okay. Sorry.
No interest in Garnacho, because I think Garnacho, for a lot of players get a bad rap. People say that Rashford had bad, he was toxic and whatever. Aston Villa wanted him, and if they could afford him, they would have bought him this season. But he's gone to Barcelona, and I was out in Spain a couple of weeks ago, and in Spain, in Barcelona, they said he's been brilliant. They love Rashford out there. You've got other players that keep getting, the media portray him with a bad rap. Spence, when he came to us, had a bad rap from Borough, had a bad rap at Leeds, and that he's come. Look at Spence at us. It depends where you go to, and I think there's a lot of baggage that the media have created for Garnacho. I think Garnacho on the left-hand side, he's a take-on merchant, and he would someone I'd look at, because Chelsea have got abundant wingers, ain't they? So.
Yeah,
I know. Me and Ian have discussed a lot of these, and we go through them constantly, and we say that there's tentative interest. There's bits here, there's bits there. Garnacho was earlier in the window, but he's set on Chelsea. I think that's a ship sailed, to be honest. Unfortunately,
the other thing I read was, and again, it's what I read. I don't know if it's true, that we did our due diligence on Garnacho, and it was no.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether that's true. But what I'm trying to take you to, Cal, we're going to be doing a show next Sunday. Next Sunday will be under 24 hours before the close of the window, which closes at 7 p.m., isn't it? British summer time. Are we going to have any signings between now and then? If so, who? And if there's not, are we going to be in absolute panic mode on Monday, the 1st of September?
I hope and I believe that there will at least be one this week. I would say probably by the end of the window, maybe 2. But whereas a couple of weeks ago, I would have said to you that it would have been 3 and they would have been competent first team signings, I think the links are becoming more and more towards the talent ID stage, the talent awareness stage players, not the ready-made ones. But if we got Savinho, I think everyone would be happy. If we got Paqueta, everyone would be happy for 2 logics. I would probably be blocked out from a lot of family, but I'll just go live with Jose for a week and we'll all make up for it. Let's put it that way. If we got in Hincapié, then we would be over the moon. I don't think Hincapié would be happy coming to us because I think he'd be playing second fiddle. I think out of all of them, he is the one that's guaranteed not to happen, even though we would all love it to happen.
Callum, on that though, I mean, he is probably, the easiest deal to do. Rumoured to have a 52.5 million release clause. It's all down to if the player wants to come, because if Spurs activate it, then Leverkusen or Leeds are bound to do that. So and although I know we've been interested in a midfielder and a left winger, we've got no cover for Van der Ven. You can shuffle right-footed centre backs in there, no real cover, and he can play left back as well. And I would love him. And if it was tomorrow, okay, we're struggling, smash that release clause. That would make me very happy, because this guy is good. I like him. I've liked him for a long while. Right? Doesn't mean to say that my perception is better. Doesn't mean to say I'm right. But I like this player, and it's a deal that could be done. Now we know Leverkusen have lost tar to Bayern Munich. They still got tap sober, haven't they? But if you hit the release clause, they have to play ball.
Well, like Forest did.
Well, this is a different situation here now, isn't it? I mean, like, they are legally binding, and we don't know what something obviously went on. I don't think it was a question of release clause with Spurs with Forest. I think it's a question of like their agent screwed up, and Marinakis has virtually, and agents are close to players, and I think through their agent, I think Marinakis was going to screw Morgan Gibbs White's agent, and I think that's the only reason he signed a year's extension. We're hearing a year's extension.
No, it was more than that.
I think the
Okay,
horse.
it's
I
more
think.
than-
I think. They, I think Marinakis put a horse's head into the agent's bed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Some pressure was applied. He even was standing over Morgan Gibbs White like the sword of Damocles, wasn't he? I mean, like, and making sure he said everything that was PR correct. I mean, there's been a lot of pressure applied there.
Yeah.
You know.
Callum, are you still there? Because you're showing us on stage, but it's saying removed. According to that,
Frozen.
He's frozen.
Yeah,
He's frozen.
All right. Look.
A bit like Tottenham in the transfer window, that isn't it? Blimey.
So, okay, I said an hour and a half. We're an hour and 40. I think we say I don't want to just keep banging names about. I really want to just talk about players that are realistic targets. But let's see. I mean, you've got a show on Tuesday, Adrian. We've got another show on Friday. I am desperately hoping that there's some
Friday's show, Tuesday's show will be more of the what if something happens tomorrow and that about the transfer news. May have a little glance at a preview of Bournemouth, but I'd rather leave that to Drew. And also because Thursday the 28th is when the European Champions League pots will be finally known after all the games. So Drew Zilla will go into that. I'll get the pots up for him, whatever it is, and so that'll be discussion about who we can possibly draw. You've got obviously a preview of Bournemouth. Obviously, you'll be doing post-match Bournemouth Sunday and any transfer news as well. Then the transfer window ends on the Monday, so you might have more transfer news to talk about Sunday as well. So things are like coming to the bowl quite nicely. Tuesday we'll see. If there isn't too much, we just take questions off the chat and all that and everything else. And it's great to have 160 of you viewing us now, which always seems to happen late on a Sunday unfortunately. But back to you.
I should say, I am planning to do a show from about 5 p.m. British Summer Time on Monday, an extra show talking about transfers. We could always, it might be other clubs doing stuff as well, have the old ticker tape going and what have you to see who's signing whom. But that's my plan. But we will see. But I think it's going to be interesting. But it is, this lastminute.com. I would love it if we got to a week before the end of the transfer window, and we came out and said that's our work done. We're finished. We're done. No ins, no outs.
The frustrating thing is, Ian. Yeah. The frustrating thing is, at one point, it actually looked like we might have had that transfer window when we signed Kudus, and then the next day we're banging in the release clause for Morgan Gibbs White. That's, I think, where the frustration with this window is, because of what we've missed out on, we're forgetting that we have actually signed a phenomenal player in Kudus. And a really great loan signing in Paulinho and stuff as well. Yeah.
Fucking Brett.
Yeah. Get that yellow tie out, won't you?
Tom, Romero signed a 4-year contract.
Yeah, Romero signed a contract. Like there's been a lot of positives from this transfer window. We just I think we're just so close to being able to actually build a decent squad that means that in future transfer windows we're not trying to buy 4 or 5 players. We're just trying to buy 1. We're just trying to buy 2. Yeah. Like that's the frustrating thing is we're so close to that. And if we don't do it now, then the next transfer window we have to buy 4 or 5, and the transfer window after that 4 or 5. Whereas we could, if we just get it sorted now, be in a position where we could actually.
Mañana, that's the problem, isn't it? Always the same. Right, I think we're going to knock it off there. Eltel Cockerell, tell us where we can get you.
I can be found on www.youtube.com at Eltel Cockerell.
Eltel Cockerell.
Eltel Cockerell.
Sí, señor. Senor Callum, apart from on here, you're now part of the furniture here. You're around. We'll get you on Twitter, get you on various places.
Yeah, you can find me at Callum Stubbs 97 on X. You can find me on Scarfy Spurs Talks, Park Lane Podcast. You can find me on Facebook as well. My name's on there. You can find me on LinkedIn, and you can find me, God knows where, in North London, where I'll be. Sure, I'll probably be outside Hotspur Way on deadline day because I know I did it last year. Let's put it that way. So hopefully we shall see. But no, cheers for having me on as always, mate.
No, pleasure. Can I have you in this on there? You know, we can do it like Jim White on Sky so I can be, and over to White Hart Lane or over to the training ground.
Are you going to send Tom as a camera crew or something like that? Just have him standing there. I've got the fucking bike and he's got a big old boon on his shoulder. That's all we bloody need.
Something like that. Tom, anything you want to add before, and I'll let Adrian. Anything you?
No. Just obviously I've got my Twitter,
okay,
which
then.
is Tom Spurs
Get
TTID.
over to it, guys. 130 of you viewing us on various platforms. Get over to Jose Eltel Cockerell. Does some great content over there. Yeah, get over there, please. Let's get his numbers up. As far as we're concerned, for those of you that are new here watching us on various platforms, we go out every Tuesday. I host Tuesday's show with Tom in the future. We'll be doing the Champions League when he's more available. He's busy now. He's become a father for the second time. Right? He's getting us more Spurs supporters as we grow. So, and Friday, Drewzilla. I co-host with Drewzilla on a Friday. At 10 o'clock as well, and Sundays obviously you've got Ian here who's with me and Tom, who are both admins as well, here to do that. Want to thank all of you in the chat for your comments and your questions. Thank everyone viewing us on various platforms. You know, the viewers, it's fantastic. We're a fledgling group. We've only been going 14 months, but we got just over 1,400 subscribers, and there is a subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. If you can hit that, you can subscribe easy. It only takes a second. Please subscribe to the channel. It helps us grow. It helps the algorithm, you know. And big up and a big thanks. And a very big up to those of you that watch our shows on playback as well. I think it's fantastic. And thank you for your continued support. Back to you, Ian.
Yeah, Callum may be too young to understand that, but I'll send you later. And Collective Breaks, Matty, I don't think I know you, but anyway, thank you. That's us going to.
And to add one more thing, just to mix it up, I will continue to add more intros and outros to the shows, which I know that Ian, Tom, and Drew will probably hate, right?
Yeah, I like my little song. I like my little. But there you go. Anyway, thanks everybody. Catch you next time.
See you in the back room, guys.
We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hard, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hard, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hard, heart and soul. Lily white and navy blue. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hard, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hard, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die.